Hey guys, this is Julian of Julian Gray Media. I had a really popular video a few months ago called Making a Song in Audacity, where I basically just, without any preparation, walked into Audacity, the freeware DAW that everybody knows about, and made a song from scratch in it. Now, Audacity isn't like a fully featured DAW. It's very hard to do anything without a lack of a centralized tempo grid. But there's another free DAW out there that a lot of people use and have that I think we can do something cool with. So today's video is going to be making a song in Apple's freeware DAW, Garageband, and we aren't going to use any of the limitations that I usually use, so we're going to be free to use VSTs, and if we can get them to work, that is, to make something presentable. I think we're going to have a little bit more luck in Garageband than we did in Audacity. If you really want to see that video, though, it's kind of a train wreck. Click on the link in the upper right hand corner above me right now and you can check out that Audacity video. But I think we're going to have a little bit more luck in GarageBand because they have a centralized tempo grid. It accepts MIDI, audio unit, and things like that. So this is the first time I've ever touched GarageBand in maybe like 10 years, 5 or 6 at the minimum. And it's going to be very exciting to see what we can do in this free DAW. So join me for the ride. Let's hop into the studio and get started. Already giving me issues with activation. Welcome to GarageBand, the easiest way to create a great sounding song on your Mac. I don't know if great is the word, but let's see. What's new in GarageBand? New modern design, more touch bar features. Unfortunately, this is a Mac Pro, so we don't have a touch bar anyway. New drummers, drummer loops. Share to GarageBand for iOS. That is pretty cool. I'm waiting for Ableton on iOS. Ableton, I'm looking at you right now into your soul. I'm waiting for that Ableton port onto iOS or even Android. I would buy an Android tablet to use Ableton on the go, but alas, it doesn't exist. Okay, this is interesting. Very preset-y. Reminds me of iMovie, if you know that. It's like Apple has like 2 stages of its professional work suite. There's like the entry level that comes free with Mac, which is like iPhoto, GarageBand, iMovie, and then there's like the next level up, which is not quite like fully like featured industry grade hardware and stuff. Arguably so. I mean, some people use it for such, but they have Logic, and then they have Aperture, and then they have Final Cut. Final Cut at least is kind of pales in comparison to Premiere, in my opinion at least. But Logic's pretty cool. Maybe we'll do a video on Logic down the line. I do actually own Logic. If we go here, Logic Pro X, which I haven't touched in years. But let's see if we can figure this out. We don't want to do a songwriter thing, I think. We kind of want to do an electronic thing. I'm not sure what that entails, though. Hip-hop might be close. Keyboard collection, amp collection, voice. We're probably not going to be doing any recording, per se. So let's just try out. To start things, I guess we'll do an empty project. Hey guys, so we're back. I had a bit of a technical problem here. I actually recorded the entire video. I made an entire song in GarageBand, but it turns out that when I launched GarageBand, it ate my microphone. So my recording software stopped recording my microphone. So the layout of this video is going to be a little bit different than I thought it would be. This time we're going to make sure that it's recording audio because I'm an idiot and I didn't double check when I started recording. So I'm going to create a new project, make sure it's recording this time. Yes, this time I actually have audio, as you can see on the screen. And we're going to do a software instrument. So in GarageBand, you have 3 different types of instruments here. I found this really interesting the first time. I'm sorry, I don't really have like a reactionary thing to this. It was kind of clever. But in GarageBand, you have 3 separate types of tracks, whereas in most professional DAWs, you have a MIDI channel, and then you have an audio channel. GarageBand here, as you can see, has a software instrument and an audio channel, which is fundamentally the same thing, MIDI and audio. As you can see in the description here, it's essentially that. And then we have drummer, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of an AI-based drummer that automatically plays with your song, which I would never touch with a 10-foot pole in terms of professional audio. I'd rather do it myself. Maybe we'll play with it a little bit in this video, but we're going to start off with a software instrument. Cool. Double click on that. Create. As you can see, this is our browser. It's kind of similar if you've ever used Final Cut Pro or iMovie to their system of organization in Final Cut or iMovie, the inspector, if you will, of the program. It's a preset browser, basically. These are all the instruments that you can use. I didn't download like the 15 gigabyte add-on for GarageBand because I can't see myself using this for more than one video. But if you did, you get more instruments, like all the ones that have the download buttons. I'm not going to do that for this video. We're just going to use GarageBand kind of as a shell. The point of this video is to kind of illustrate how capable GarageBand is as a DAW, considering that is a free DAW. It's very, very capable, and you can actually do a lot of the things, if not everything that you can do in a fully featured DAW like Logic or Ableton in GarageBand. So to start things off, I'm going to do some drums. We're going to try to imitate the drums in the other project file, as I keep mentioning. I'm probably not going to keep mentioning it. Let's load in the 808 kit. If we go to Electronic Drum Kit and we go to Boutique 808, we can see that we have this kit here now. I'm going to change the key signature of the song. Let's do E minor. GarageBand has a snapped key function here, which I think Logic has, but most DAWs don't. Or at least Ableton doesn't. I'm going to go ahead and add in a MIDI clip. We're not going to play this in, so I'm going to do create empty MIDI region, and as you can see, we can expand it here, or we can expand the clip itself. The top grab is a loop, the bottom grab is an expand. That's cool. If we double click on it, we can see the MIDI notes at the bottom here. If we want to draw in a new note, we hold the command key and we draw in the note. We're going to start off with a basic 4/4 drum pattern. We're going to do a progressive house tune like you heard in the beginning in Ableton here. So what we're going to do is actually go ahead and play around and see which notes we actually like of this, and then we're going to build in a cool groove. Actually like that one a lot. Let's go ahead and just drag this in and draw in a quarter note. Let's see what else we got. So I'm going to do this, and then maybe this here. That should be interesting. Turn off the metronome a little bit there, and then obviously going to want a snare, and that seems to be the only one we have in this kit. Of course, you can always do this with audio. I'm not sure how good the sampler is, if there is a sampler at all in GarageBand, similar to Drum Rack or Battery by Native Instruments, but you can use their stock ones in MIDI like this, and you can also, if you really need to, do the whole like drag in the audio samples and then lay them out on a grid. At least GarageBand has a grid, which is something that is one-upped from Audacity, which is another free DAW, as I mentioned in the intro. So let's give us a play so far. There we go, and then let's find a hi-hat here. There we go. Let's try dragging in and drawing in some hi-hats like that. Oops, like that. There we go. And let's loop this region. So apparently if we drag through the top like that, we get a loop. Unfortunately, I don't have like the reactions to all this stuff because I was figuring all this out in the first video, but now I already know it, so it's a little bit easier for me here. So then we can loop like this. The other option is we can toggle the loop here, and then we can drag it here. As you can see, that's mirrored in the clip. This is kind of our clip window like we would have in Ableton, but it's in GarageBand. So I want to just isolate that region there. And work on the mix of this a little bit here. If we double click on the instrument itself, we can actually adjust the parameters. Unfortunately, we have this super rudimentary like basic preset UI that looks way over designed for what it is. It's one thing I like about Ableton is it's very, very minimalistic, and it looks very technical and functional, where GarageBand and a lot of Apple's tools in general look very, very over designed. Prefer the more technical back end, very, very minimalistic approach, which is why I like Premiere over Final Cut. I do edit in Final Cut every once in a while for these videos, but Premiere and After Effects work so well together with Photoshop and Illustrator, and all my animation stuff and all that is very centered in these two. Side note, I'm going off topic, I know, but I'm just talking about Apple's ecosystem as a whole. So what was I doing? I was turning up this kick. I'm not going to blabber on anymore about Apple's weird ecosystem. Turning up that kick. I want to go ahead and adjust in the plugin window here. I want to add a compressor to this, and I want to compress this bus. Soften that ratio up a little bit. Those aren't half bad. They sound as good as Ableton stock drums. If you guys want to see a video where I use all Ableton stock utilities to make a similar song to what we're going to make here, it's called Melodic Techno in Ableton Live 10. And basically, I made a song with just that, Ableton Live 10 stock everything. If you want to check out that series, make sure to click on the link in the upper right-hand corner right now to investigate that. So I'm going to go ahead and loop this region out right here to maybe 8 bars long, and then we're going to drag this down. We're going to make a new MIDI channel first. To do so, we're going to do add track, and instead of named MIDI channel, it's called software instrument. I love that. Trying to keep it really rudimentary for the beginners. We're going to do software instrument here. And because we're trying to use this as a shell and less as a GarageBand, as GarageBand was meant to be used, I'm actually going to use audio units. In the first video, we actually had to activate every single plugin because I don't use audio units. So this video is actually going to be shorter because of that. We don't have to go through the activation process. Let's go ahead and load in Serum. And again, this is recent because I did the other video. But if you need to load in that instrument, GarageBand's going to scan your VST plugin, or I'm sorry, your AU plugin folder. VST is a different wrapper, universal between Mac and PC, where AU is Mac only. That's why I don't use them, because clients don't like AU, because if they have a PC, they can't open the projects. But if you load in an AU unit, or if you install one, I should say, they will automatically be sensed here in GarageBand, assuming you're using the default folder. So I'm going to load in, instead of doing the recent folder because it's kind of cheating for you guys, I'm going to do all instruments, or AU instruments, X for record Serum. I'm going to load in Serum. And then suddenly, this is looking a lot more like Logic. Because we can use plugins like this, AU plugins, it suddenly becomes a kind of a Logic clone. There's a stupid UI here as well, kind of very numbed down and basic because we had to load in a default instrument before we did this, but we can easily circumvent this by just adjusting what we have here. Let's turn on musical typing. You can do window show musical typing, or you can do Command K. I learned that in the first video as well. And then we can type in notes, and as you can hear, there's a little bit of reverb on there, so we're going to turn off whatever this reverb is. We're going to turn the master volume all the way up. We're going to turn the ambience down, make sure that's down, I should say, and then we're going to go into Serum and turn this down to compensate for turning that up. I just do not want to ever have to deal with this disgusting whatever this is, so I just want to use Serum as it is here. And we have a default Serum. Now this is a little bit more familiar to some of you Ableton guys or FL guys or whatever guys you are, and we can actually use this as we would in any other DAW. So let's turn up the unison on this. I want to make a pluck sound. Do a pluck for the filter. We're going to do an envelope 2, attach that here, make sure the resonance is down. If you guys want to see my video on how to make a dead mouse pluck or a basic progressive house pluck at that, make sure to click on the link in the upper right hand corner right now. A lot of plugs in this video to check out how to make a dead mouse pluck in Serum. This is basically what I'm doing right now, so I don't want to bore you guys with the sound design of it. Basically, this envelope is controlling the cutoff filter, which is essentially an automated EQ. We're going to do a reverb on this. And we have a pluck. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this MIDI down from the top here, just like that, to make it easier instead of creating a new MIDI clip here. I actually don't mind that, which is funny because I typically just clear all of this out, but I think we can actually work with this. If we drag this up to an E, where our root note is, the E minor, and get rid of these layered chords here. These are disgusting. Maybe we can adjust that bass note. I don't know what that just did. I have no idea what that does. But I think that sets the end of the loop region. Yeah. So if we wanted to loop by like a half of that, we can actually see that's reflected up here. That's kind of cool. I'm going to grab these notes and then option drag them over. I'm so glad that that shortcut works. There's a lot that don't work, but option drag is pretty universal. So then we have this more syncopated bass line here. I'm going to do this one more time with these notes to, option drag to there. There we are. I'm going to increase this loop region here, and I actually don't want the synth to repeat over and over like that. I want this to be longer, so we can actually, by dragging at this bottom half, we can extend the clip instead of looping it like that. That's very cool. I'm sorry to use Serum. It's just that I want to kind of treat this as a professional DAW, and most people don't use the stock plugins. If you are a new user coming to this video as a brand new producer, first of all, hello. And second of all, Serum is only like $100. That seems really steep. Maybe $170 actually. On second thought, this might not be the best for you, but if you do want to pick up a first synth, Serum is a really good one for you to use. And if you're watching this video to fish around different DAWs, maybe GarageBand is good enough for you, and you might just need some third-party plugins to get the job done. So I'm going to copy that over like that, and drag this over again, and then drag this over again, and drag this over once more, and then we can start to adjust these notes like so. So we're going to grab these notes here. Like I was saying, GarageBand is actually pretty functional, all things considered. Let's do this. There we go. Basic bass progression here. I'm going to turn this tempo up to maybe 126. That's a little bit more interesting, I think. So basically, we're just treating this as a sequencer then. GarageBand is then basically just like any other DAW. If we double click on this, we can actually add in audio effects and stuff like that. I just want to adjust the Serum just a little bit here, add a little bit more reverb. Add in a compressor here. Let's do that here. Where can I find that? Dynamics compressor. Just want to flatline this a little bit. Little hard to do this without a visual cue. I did a video on understanding the basics of a compressor, another plug. You can check out that video, and that's one of my most popular videos, and I think one of my best videos in the upper right hand corner right now. And if you don't understand a compressor, you will understand the compressor after that video. It's called How to Actually Use a Compressor, and it's exactly that. So yeah, I'm going to adjust that. Without seeing that visual cue of where the threshold is, it's very hard to dial this in. That's rather nice. I'm going to turn this down in context of that drum. Then we're going to add in a bass sound. This should be easy enough. Let's add in a new software instrument like that. This is a really, really, really intuitive design. I have to hand it to Apple for this. This is like mind-numbing how easy it is to learn GarageBand. I learned this program in less than an hour, and I guess it does help that I know Ableton and I know a little bit of Logic, so it does help. But I think for an absolute beginner, this could actually be a really, really good starting point to learn production. I'm going to grab that MIDI and just drag it down, delete all of these notes up here, and this is going to be our bass sound. So I just want to use that root note. I keep accidentally doing that. I don't know what that does. I guess I explained it earlier. It's to end the loop region. Command Z that. I'm going to delete all of these, and I'm going to delete all these, and I'm going to delete all of these as well, and we're going to delete all of these. So we're just going to highlight all of the notes we have now and just drag them out to the next one like so. So now we have a full, and this is our zoom, I figured out in the first video as well. We have a bass line. But I want to drag this down an octave. We're going to find a bass sound for this. Let's use the synthesizer that's built in and actually try to use one of the built-in sounds here. This could be interesting. Let's try bass, and let's try edgy synth bass. That sounds interesting. That is awful. Maybe we can tune that up a full octave. That might help. I don't know how to do that here, though. This is a very, very rudimentary synth. As you can see here, it's not exactly the most, I guess, customizable synth here. Maybe we can open Alchemy up. Nope, we can't do that. Alchemy is actually one of the coolest things about Logic that I wish I had in Ableton. And I think you can probably use it in Ableton as an audio unit, but I don't. Is there like a... No, there's not a pitch here. I guess we'll just tune it up. That's easier. Drag this from where we're at, E0 to E0. I do like that a lot about GarageBand and Logic, that you can see the pitch here and you can see the velocity of the note right when you're dragging it, and you can see the length of the note. That's really handy, actually, and the exact position. There's also the score mode, which is really, really nice, and it kind of feeds my old classical days when I was reading off of sheet. I've actually written some sheet in GarageBand before. That's one of the only things I used it for back when I was doing classical training. This is like at least 2 or 3 years ago. So there's our bass. Makes me wonder if it would be better there. It sounds like a respace almost. I don't know if I like it. There we go. It sounds a little bit better. Let's try out some of these other basses. Maybe we can find a better one. Hard tech bass. It's a little bit too jumpy, and I don't want to dick around with this. I don't understand how their system works. This is not exactly a synth interface. It's actually surprisingly good. Is there like a control for portamento? No. It's not bad though. I think I'll keep that actually. And then maybe we can add an EQ to this like so. Channel EQ. This is actually the same EQ that Logic uses, as far as I know. It's a really, really good EQ, actually. Surprisingly good for GarageBand. I'm going to change this to a 36 decibel per octave cut, and then we're going to make this more aggressive. We're going to cut some of this high end off. I just want this to fill out the low end. Then we'll add some compression to that to make it sound a little bit bigger and catch some of those smaller ambiances about that bass. Cool, and let's see how it sounds with the rest of this stuff. See, there's way too much, like, there's like a reverb to it. I don't know how to correct that with the stock, but I did want to use at least one stock element just so we can say we did. Maybe let's try one more. Let's see if we can find a better bass in this. Come on. I just want like a held out bass, to be honest. Deep sub bass maybe? That's actually not bad. I want to get rid of that modulation though. Yeah. No unison at all, just a sub bass. There we go. It's like a saw sub bass. That's exactly what we wanted. So I was going for, at least. You can make do with some of these presets. They're not terrible. Just doing some basic mixing here. That's kind of cool. I hate that you can't like adjust the individual drums. That's like a big pet peeve of mine. If I really wanted to be anal about this and I wanted to make this as good as I possibly could, I would make a individual channel for each individual one of these drums, but I really don't feel like doing that. That's what I would do if I was trying to make like a really good song. And let's go ahead and add in another element here, software instrument. And do a, let's see, arpeggiator. That sounds interesting. And we'll do, let's see what we got here. Try dragging something in. Deep cosmic arp cycles. That sounds interesting. Let's do Command K. Oops, that was an accident. Let's drag in this, this MIDI here. And it's obviously going to have to come up. It's not bad, but one of the notes is wrong, and there's no way to fix it, as far as I know. Let's see. It's that one. Because one of the harmonics of that note isn't right, or one of the placements of that note in the chord is wrong, and I don't know how to fix it. It's really frustrating. Maybe I can do... And I really don't like this sound. Let's just play around with some of these other ones. Actually, really enjoy that one. I'm going to turn the reverb down. I'm going to turn the delay a little bit farther down. Disable silver verb. So one of the things I want to do is actually try an audio effect that's outside of Ableton, or I'm sorry, GarageBand. And I can actually do this here. If we actually go to audio unit at the bottom, and assuming you have them installed, you have all of your audio units that you would use in Ableton or Logic right here. So you can actually drag in, like, let's say a Valhalla room, and then we have our standard reverb. We can even rescale it. It's nuts. This is actually like fully featured DAW for free. I don't know what anybody would miss out on by not getting GarageBand. It's pretty cool. Yeah, you know, anybody can grab this DAW. It's free on the App Store, literally. And you can actually use this program with your phone or with an iPad or something like that. That's something that Ableton doesn't even have going for it. I'm looking into your soul, Ableton. Do it. Do it now. Get me an Ableton version on iOS or Android. I would buy an Android tablet for that. Okay, so back to this. I'm going to adjust the reverb I just added here. I wanted to use a third-party reverb just to show it could be done. I'm going to put this reverb, or I'm sorry, the EQ after the reverb. Let me see, can I do that? Yes, I can do that. I want the limiter after the reverb as well, though, so I can catch some of that ambience. Cool. And then the channel EQ, I'm going to go into the EQ here. It seems like it's already there, but I don't really want two EQs. Okay, this is the one. I don't want this one then. I'm going to dial the high end back a little bit here. I'm just going to actually disable these two. I'm just going to do a roll off. I'm a big advocate of not using EQ. Some people think that's insane, but the only EQ I ever really like to use, just to keep things simple, is a high, low, or band pass like this. All of that like surgical cutting and stuff, I think that's just getting way too into it, like this sort of thing. And I think that the best style of mixing is the most minimalistic approach, like so. So there we are. Did a low pass here. That should fix some of our issue here. I just want to bury this sound a little bit. I don't want it to be so in your face. Do the same thing on the bottom end, maybe. Now on the serum, I actually want to adjust the reverb. I want to give it a little bit more. And just to add a little bit of interest to this, I'm going to go ahead and automate the serum gain here. Let me see how I can do that. I believe if I double click, yeah, there's a way to do this. Hold on. If I go to this, maybe? If I do... There's a way you can do it. I know for a fact because I did it earlier. It's like toggle automation or something. That's not what I wanted to do. Maybe I can... That is not it either. Wow, where is it? This guy here? No. This here? No. There's a way to do this. I'm just being an idiot right now. For it. Okay, I finally figured it out. You can toggle automation with the A key. I guess they Ableton got it from somewhere, so I guess you can toggle that. And I wanted to automate the serum here. So let's do serum. Let's find filter cutoff. I wanted to automate the cutoff to open it up over time. It's a little bit difficult to find here. Filter cutoff, there we are. And then you can draw in the points and then automate like you would in any other DAW, like that. Although it's kind of weird because when you grab the vector in this program, it kind of moves the entirety of the clip instead of just moving that one little section. Weird. There we go. Now, as you can see, you can do automation just like you would in any pro DAW in GarageBand. It's kind of nuts. And I'm not going to make a full song here, but I'm just kind of illustrating that this is a really capable program. It's actually significantly more capable than I thought it was, and it's a lot more capable than it was in like 2013, the last time I used it. This is almost like a light version of Logic, I would say, and it's completely free, so it makes sense that it is exactly what I I said, a light version of Logic. Last thing I want to do on this track is to add in an audio channel. Okay, I'm just going to drag in a audio clip. So in the first video of this recording process, I couldn't figure out a way to load in a folder here. And the only way I found of dragging in files or importing files was actually dragging them in. So I'm going to have to go to my studio folder, my drum samples folder, and my Black Octopus folder. Find a sample. This is in the key of E minor, as we've established. And we're going to do Leviathan, and we're going to do effects atmospheres, and we're going to find a sample in E minor. Let's try Caravan and drag that in. I don't know what this sounds like, and there's no way for me to tell because there's no like sample listener thing in GarageBand. So that's one caveat that I found of this program. But other than that, there's not really much I can say bad about it. It's a free DAW. It's a free, fully featured DAW. I'm going to go ahead and put this where I want it, like that. I want it just to kind of grow with the clip as we see here. So it ends on that little bit right there. So let's play this through and see how it sounds. And I don't know if there's a way to reverse clips in GarageBand too, just as a side note. Maybe there is, but as far as I know, there isn't. I guess that's reserved for Logic, the premium GarageBand. Now that's not that. And by the way, I love Logic. I would never trash Logic. It's really, really cool. It was my favorite DAW before Ableton. So yeah, there's that. I want to add in, let me get rid of this inspector thing on the side. I think that's literally what that is, an inspector. No, it's F, media browser. Apple Loops, I'm assuming, is like importing from the internet or something, like a cloud-based loops thing. That's cool. A notepad. That's so funny. They have a freaking Word document. Hi, this is Julian in the program. That's interesting. I kind of like that though. I don't know why more DAWs don't do that. Like lyrics in your DAW. Huh. It'd be really cool if it had like a scroll or something that you can do like lyrics and it scrolls through for you. Any rate, now what's really, really taking away from this is the lack of sidechain. And as far as I know, there's no real way to sidechain in GarageBand. There's a few workarounds though, and we're gonna do that right now. I'm gonna try it at least. There's an auto filter workaround. We can use a filter as a sidechain. Now, as you know, that a sidechain is not a filter, it's a gain reduction tool. It ducks the volume of the track every quarter note or what have you. That's why LFO tool and things like that work. Auto filter is going to cut off a certain frequency. It's not going to reduce the volume. So it's like more of like an EQ. And you're going to see that. It's going to be apparent, but it's still going to work for what we're trying to do to create that pumping effect of progressive house or techno. So we're going to turn the intensity up, and you're going to hear this once we solo it. It's like a slight thing there. I wish there was a way to copy this. I don't know if there is, and if there is, you guys can tell me, but I really don't think there is. And I have to do this manually every single time, so bear with me here for a second. You can see how powerful GarageBand has become over the past few years, and the stigma that it's a kind of like a toy almost is kind of fading away. Actually, this is a very, very powerful DAW for what it is. Much more powerful than Audacity, and they're the same price. They're free, as far as I know. At least I believe it's free. If GarageBand isn't free, then it comes with every new Mac, and if you buy a Mac, then you're probably going to get it anyway. It's probably pre-installed. The only way that you're not going to get it is if you buy some used Mac with some like bootleg OS 10 on it. GarageBand comes with every Mac. As far as I know, it's free. It might be like $10 or something, but it's like dirt cheap compared to like any other DAW in the world. And it's actually really powerful. I don't think it deserves the stigma of being like a toy that, like I said a few minutes ago, that it has currently. Without like further working on this, I'm just going to do a minor master. There's a track in master, so we can go to the master bus and we can apply a limiter to it. I'm just going to use the stock one just for now. But there's no reason why you couldn't use something like, let's say, if we go in here, can use Ozone 7 or whatever. It's just that I don't have them activated on Audio Unit, and I don't feel like going through that process for this video. But with the power of Audio Unit and the fact that you can actually do automations and you can sequence MIDI and you can do a lot of the things that you would do in Logic, especially if you're using like analog instruments, like if you're recording vocals or guitar or what have you, this might be actually a really good starting tool for getting your feet into digital audio workstations. And actually, if you don't really need much else, this could actually be a really powerful tool. It's a lot more powerful even than, I would say, Ableton Live Lite, which Ableton Live Lite restricts the amount of plugins you can use. It restricts the amount of channels you can have, and it doesn't have the open audio feature of Audio Unit like this one does, because it limits the amount of plugins you can use. So that you can actually get a lot more out of this, I think, than you would out of the $100 Ableton Live Intro or Lite. Yeah, that's kind of the conclusion I have for you today. Let's go ahead and play this song over. A lot of things I like about this program. I'm not going to lie, it impressed me how powerful it is. We're going to play this through one more time, and then I guess we'll wrap things up. That sidechain is killing me, but with LFO tool or something like that, you might be able to circumvent that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got anything out of it, let me know with a like on the video and a comment down below. Make sure to let me know of any future video ideas you have for me down there, as well as any questions you have for me. I'm not exactly a professional at Logic and GarageBand, so I might not know all the answers to the questions for this video, but any ideas or future video ideas or questions you have, put them down there and I'll try my best to answer them. And again, I feature some of the comment ideas that you guys put down there in future episodes. So you might decide a future episode down the line if you comment down there. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I make 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, when I'm not completely slammed with other things, and that's a lot of the time. So sometimes I should say a lot of the time I fall off of that schedule, but I try as best as I can to release on those days. But yeah, make sure to subscribe for future videos. I make a lot of videos like this, and I am Julian of Julian Gray Media. I will talk to you in the next